Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the April 23rd edition of the Carolina Weather Video, and the big weather story, both really today and for the next couple of days, is going to be severe weather as a prolific storm system is taking shape in the southern plain states today, and that's going to slowly lift to the north and east as we go through the weekend, and I think it's going to leave a lot of severe weather in its wake as it continues to churn northeastward. In fact, this is probably going to be one of the most widespread severe weather outbreaks we've seen across the southern U.S. in quite a while. A lot to go through in the video today. Just kind of hang with me and I'll try to explain everything. This is a look at the GFS valid this afternoon, and you can see today's activity will be concentrated around the lower Mississippi Valley. That's where the highest severe weather probabilities are today, a large moderate risk area running from eastern Texas into western Mississippi, including places like Shreveport and Little Rock over toward Greenville, Mississippi. Large slight risk surrounding that moderate risk area, and a pretty good severe weather outbreak is a possibility, and in fact it looks like a likelihood today. I'm really very concerned though still about tomorrow, Saturday, in parts of the deep south and the Tennessee Valley and the lower Mississippi Valley. This is the GFS. This is the precip from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday afternoon into the early evening. And the main thing to watch here is all modeling is on board with developing this secondary low that rapidly intensifies as it lifts northeast. And that's really going to ratchet up the severe weather probabilities, and then that activity continues to spread eastward. The GFS brings showers and storms into the Carolinas as we get into the evening hours tomorrow. And there you are, the precip from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. Sunday morning. Let's look at the Day 2 convective outlook, and that is a large moderate risk running from parts of Louisiana and Arkansas all the way up into southern Kentucky. A slight risk surrounding that moderate risk, and the probabilities of severe weather very high. In fact, you're looking at a 45% probability area there where the moderate risk is. And a lot of times when you see a moderate risk on Day 2 that is that size and contains those 45% probabilities, you wind up with the high risk being put out sometime when this becomes a Day 1 outlook, and that is certainly a possibility if we can get some confidence with exactly where all the mesoscale features will set up. Wouldn't be shocked at all if we saw a high risk put out by the Storm Prediction Center early on Saturday morning. Now let's show you. I showed you the GFS very quickly. I think the NAM is actually probably handling this a little better. This is the NAM 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. And you see there's a lot of activity really blossoming through Mississippi, Alabama, into Georgia and Tennessee. We go 6 hours later, and that activity then spreads into the western Carolinas. And let's go 12 hours later. The NAM really fires things up again in the Carolinas on Sunday. It's a little bit slower with the movement, and so you wind up on the NAM anywhere from I-85 eastward Sunday seeing another round of shower and thunderstorm activity. Now let me go through a couple of the severe weather indices here. First of all, this is a chart showing a number of different things, but the one I want to point out here is the shading, the color shading. That's the lifted index. The lower that is, the more unstable the air mass is. And you're looking at some degree of instability all across the southeastern part of the country. This is valid at 8 p.m. Tomorrow on Saturday. We go out to 2 p.m. Sunday. Notice a pretty good amount of instability on the NAM spreading from Georgia on up through a good chunk of the Carolinas as well, as that second wave of activity is possible. Again, these are all going to be NAM charts I'm showing you. Keep in mind the GFS is not as active with Sunday around the Carolinas as the NAM is. All right, this is a combination showing you the CAPE, which is the convective available potential energy, the amount of instability that's available to feed thunderstorms. That's the color shading. The blue lines, that is the helicity. General definition there, the helicity is turning of the winds with height, also the amount of speed change is involved there, and you're looking at tremendous amounts of helicity in Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee. This is valid at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and there's pretty good helicity that then develops into the Carolinas on Sunday. One more parameter, I believe, to show you, maybe two more. Let's see. Yep, two more. This is the significant tornado parameter. And these other two indices I'm going to show you, it's a combination generally of shear as well as instability, and a couple other things involved I won't bore you with. But this is, generally speaking, these are very, very high, significant tornado parameter levels from Mississippi into Alabama and Tennessee as we get into tomorrow afternoon. And then on Sunday afternoon, you see it's not as high as what occurs in the Deep South on Saturday, but Sunday, pretty good instability and helicity values combining to give you a pretty healthy, significant tornado parameter there across the Carolinas Sunday afternoon. One more, the Craven Significant Severe Parameter, and again, just sky-high values. A lot of times, looking at past events with the Craven Significant Severe Parameter, anytime you have values 20 or higher, you end up with pretty significant severe weather. And you're looking at values here that are up to 40 and 50. Just incredibly high levels on this composite index. And then notice very high levels spreading into the Carolinas on Sunday afternoon. All right, so I show you all that. And let me just kind of lay it out here for you. I think Saturday afternoon, there'll be a violent severe weather outbreak in parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. Could be a very significant outbreak of severe weather. And then it sure looks like that wave of activity, while it probably weakens some, will move into parts of the Carolinas Saturday evening and Saturday night. Strong to severe storms certainly possible then. And then depending on how quickly the system moves, we could see another round of thunderstorms coming up as we get into midday Sunday into the afternoon hours. And those too could wind up being severe depending on how quickly that storm system presses on through the area. So a lot to watch this weekend. Anywhere across the southeast, it's a great idea to have your NOAA weather radios on the alert position today through the weekend, especially the weekend for the southeast. And of course, here in the Carolinas, if and when severe weather breaks out, we will cover it for you live here on News 14 Carolina, and we'll keep you completely up to date. All right, so have a good way here in Weather Watches and Warnings this weekend. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend, and God bless.